Hi, everyone, and welcome to Marketing 3202, also known as Consumer Behavior. This is the 100% online section of consumer behavior. So, if you are unsure of whether or not you're in the right class, this is the online section. My name is Matthew Harrison, and I will be your instructor for this semester. I'm very excited to be here. Consumer behavior is something that I studied very extensively in grad school and something that I'm very passionate about. So I'm hoping that that passion and interest may rub off on you just a little bit this semester here. Um, Principles of Marketing is, of course, a prereq for this course. So if you have not taken Principles of Marketing, you might look at changing your schedule. That being said, I see a lot of familiar faces on my class list. I know that many of you have taken courses with me before. You're kind of familiar with my teaching style, and that's awesome. I'm glad to see you back here. Some of you guys are new as well, so we're just going to kind of hit the highlights. I am making some changes to the course this semester to make it a little bit different, so please make sure you pay close attention here. Um, like I said, I'm Professor Harrison. I'll be here for you all semester. My email address is here. It is harrisonmt1@etsu.edu. I'm here to answer questions at any time that you have. Generally speaking, I respond to emails the same day they are received. But I do teach on campus and a few other things, so I'm a busy person. So generally speaking, like I said, you'll always get a response within 24 to 48 hours. Generally speaking, on that 24-hour side or less, but occasionally on the weekends it will slip into that 48-hour time frame. So if you have questions at any point throughout the course, I really strive to be an involved professor and not someone who is just um, not paying attention, not grading papers, etc. I try to get everything back to you within 1 week of the time you submit it. I do genuinely read every word that you submit and give you feedback on it. And like I said, I do answer my emails, so I'll be here for you. Guys, if you need to contact me, please don't forget the one here at the end of my email, harrisonmt1@etsu.edu. There are 3 Matthew Harrisons on campus, and we constantly exchange each other's emails. And there's one guy in the computer science department and another guy in the chemistry department, and they get very confused when they get marketing emails, okay? So, that being said, please don't forget that one, and I'm always here to answer your questions at any point when you have them. Guys, consumer behavior is going to be such a fun course. Whenever we had just 1 week about consumer behavior and principles of marketing, where we discussed the consumer decision-making process and all those steps there. We're going to talk this semester about attitudes and motivation and emotions and how all of these things factor into the consumer decision process, atmospherics, situational factors. It's just so interesting and so much fun, and I'm so excited to share this with you. This is the textbook that we are going to be using this semester. It's titled Consumer Behavior, Building Marketing Strategy. It is by Mothersbaugh, Hawkins, and Kleiser. Hot off the press here in 2020, so it is the 14th edition. You do need this version of the text, guys. I've looked at some earlier editions, and there have been significant changes between those editions and the 14th. So please make sure you order the 14th. I know that it will be a little expensive since it is new and off the press. So I would recommend searching Chegg, Amazon, any of those textbook rental companies to rent it for the semester. You can do an ebook or a physical copy, whichever you prefer, and you do not need any kind of access codes or anything like that. It is just the textbook. Okay, so please go ahead and get that ordered as soon as possible. Get working on those assignments. Okay. All right, we talked about that. This is the grading scale we're going to be using this semester. And these are the types of assignments you're going to have. They are sort of varied between different types. So I'll explain each of these in detail in just a moment. But basically, each week you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to read one chapter in the Hawkins, Mothersbaugh, and Kleiser textbook. I will tell you that there's 1 week where you have to read 2 chapters. But every other week you're reading just 1 chapter, and you'll be able to see on the syllabus schedule here at the end when that first week is coming. It is this week here, the end of March, early April, when you do have 2 chapters to read. But otherwise, only 1 chapter. Okay? So every week you're going to be reading 1 chapter in the book. And then you're going to have some guided reading questions to answer. Now, this is a new thing that I'm doing this semester. In the past, I've always given students like a reading quiz or a chapter quiz just to make sure that you are understanding what you should be understanding before going on to the assignments. But I found that in an online course, it's very difficult to administer those quizzes because it's so easy for you just to Google an answer and click A, B, C, or D, right? But I actually want to see that you're learning the information. And your other assignments that you'll be doing each week, the marketing minute audio, the discussion board, or the application response, those require a lot of detail and a lot of critical thinking, and they will take you some time. So if you don't understand what you've read or you don't really have a good understanding of that marketing vocabulary, it's going to be really hard for you to do your written assignment for the week. So my goal with these guided reading questions is that it will cause you to really dive deep into the chapter and really, really understand those concepts. So let me tell you how I want you to do these guided reading questions, okay? I want you just to read the chapter the way you normally would. Just sit down on your couch, curl up with your cat or dog, and read the chapter, okay? Maybe pour some coffee if you're lucky, okay? Read the chapter. Once you've done that, I want you to take these 20 to 25 questions, and I want you to go through and answer as many of them as you can without looking in your book. Oh my gosh, right? Okay, just answer as many of them as you can just to see what you learned from that first initial reading of the chapter. Okay, once you've done that, then I want you to go back, get your book out, and check the answers that you have completed to make sure what you understood was correct. Okay, then your third and final step, go back and fill in any questions you were not able to answer the first time using your textbook. And by that point, the whole assignment will be completed and you'll have all 20 to 25 questions answered. These are all short answer questions. They do require you to use your own words. For this assignment, there's no sources or anything else required. It's just your own words. And of course, the textbook. This will also help you and serve as a sort of dictionary for you as you are completing your other written assignments for the week. Okay, so one more time, you're reading the first time, you're answering as many of these guided reading questions as you can after reading. Okay, you're going back and checking your answers you've completed against the book to make sure they're correct, and then you're going through and answering any blank questions you haven't already answered and finishing the assignment and submitting it as a PDF to the Dropbox. You'll have one of these for every chapter that we read for a total of 15. Okay, this should genuinely help you to understand the concepts. That is my goal with this, as opposed to just clicking an A, B, C, or D on a short answer or on a quiz. So hopefully that will be good for you. Okay, so each week after you've read and you've completed the guiding reading questions, you're going to have a written assignment. And this written assignment will vary in the form of a marketing minute audio, a discussion board, or an application response. You can see these are worth different percentages of your grade. And that's for a reason. These marketing minute audios are going to take some time. Okay, and all of these assignments this semester are very application based. Okay, I don't want to see that you can just read a chapter and answer questions. I also want to see that you can, and not to say that's not a critical part of the learning process, because it is, but once you've read the questions and answered them, you need to be able to apply those concepts to the real world and use them as a marketer. So that's what I'm going to have you do here. A lot of these assignments will require you to go out on the real world and interview people. You may be going out and finding examples of an ad. You may be going to a retail store and making observations. You may be analyzing a mobile app or an online site. You're going to be using things in the real world here to complete your assignments. So, like I said, the guided reading questions are a low-level recognition, making sure you understand what you're doing each week, but these assignments will be more complex. The marketing minute audios are worth the largest percentage of your grade, probably because they will take the most time out of any of your assignments, followed by the application and response questions and the discussion boards. Okay, so let's talk about what each of these assignments entail very quickly. For the marketing minute audio, you're going to be listening to a very short summary of the chapter. And I've done this on the particularly difficult weeks where you really need some guidance. So I'll give you a brief summary of the chapter. And these audio questions, the whole file might be 5 to 10 minutes long. They're very short, shorter than this video, okay? So that being said, you will listen to that audio and the summary of the chapter, and then I'm going to pose some kind of question for you or give you something to do. And that may be analyzing an app, it may be interviewing people, it may be just answering a critical thinking question, but you're going to have something to do that week related to that Marketing Minute audio. For some of these questions, we'll be using a program called Flipgrid, which you'll learn more about, which is sort of the equivalent of an oral presentation in an in-person class. I'm sure you've all had a class where you had some type of presentation you had to do. You had to go do research, you had to get up in front of your class and give a presentation about it, right? And get feedback from your peers. Flipgrid sort of facilitates that in an online environment. So you're going to be giving those oral presentations on those weeks, and your classmates will have to interact with you, and you'll see each other's faces. You can still do it on your own time, so it's not an issue in terms of us all having to be online at the same time, but it will require you using your face. So make sure that you have a webcam or a cell phone or something that you could use. If you have an iPhone or an Android, then that'll be perfect. Okay, we'll talk more about those as those assignments come available. But for some of these Marketing Minute audios, you're just going to be writing a paper and submitting it as a PDF to the Dropbox. For others, you are going to be actually making a video with an oral presentation. I can sense already, not even knowing, that you're stressing about the Flipgrid. Okay, so don't stress about the Flipgrid. Your first week, we'll be doing an intro discussion, which I'll talk about more in just a moment. And on that intro discussion, you will be using Flipgrid. So you'll get to kind of be introduced to it, and it won't be stressful for the rest of the semester. Okay, so we'll rip the Band-Aid off early. Okay, that being said, each week, like I said, you're reading a chapter in the book. You are doing your guided reading questions, and you're doing some type of additional critical thinking assignment. That may be a Marketing Minute audio, or it may be application response questions. And these application response questions are exactly what they sound like. You are having to think critically in response to some type of difficult marketing consumer behavior question. And those questions will be posted for you on D2L. You can answer them, submit them as a PDF to the Dropbox. And finally, you may also have a discussion board where, again, you are interacting with your classmates and listening and talking to them. Consumer behavior is about understanding what we as consumers do in the shopping experience, and how those attitudes affect our values, and all those things affect our purchases. So it's important that you have interaction with your classmates. It is a very, very integral part of understanding consumer behavior. So I do expect you to respond and reply to your classmates, to read their posts. And these should not just be, oh, I agree, cool story, bro. Okay, I need you to actually get in there and really respond to them and talk to them. Okay, that's why a lot of these are administered via Flipgrid as well, where you'll be using your face and you'll actually be talking to one another as opposed to just writing. So think about it like a Snapchat. You're just a long Snapchat video. Okay. Okay. All of these assignments, whether you're doing a Marketing Minute audio, an application response, or a discussion board, all of these assignments should be submitted as a PDF, unless, of course, it's a video, right? When you're doing the videos, you will not be submitting a PDF. Otherwise, for all other assignments, please make sure that you are submitting them as a PDF. Make sure you're including 2 key terms, 2 chapter concepts. These are listed at the end of each chapter in your text. It'll be very, very easy to incorporate these each week, okay? So each week, submitting as a PDF, including 2 key terms, and then you should also include 2 external sources, and these are scholarly sources from some type of scholarly journal. This is a marketing department requirement for all marketing courses. So this may be, and I do recommend for these external sources, guys, if you are doing a discussion about your experience in a store and how the atmosphere of the store influences your purchase decision, if that's what you're writing a paper about, don't just Google the name of the store. Okay, if your store is Abercrombie and Fitch, don't Google Abercrombie and Fitch. Don't search Abercrombie and Fitch in the in the database. Don't look there. Search atmospherics or situational influences or whatever your key term that you were using earlier is. Search that key term and Abercrombie and Fitch. Do what's called a Boolean search, where you type in both of them, your key term, atmospherics, and Abercrombie and Fitch, and search and find your article that way. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. We are using APA formatting for all of these things. And if you have never used APA, or if you're feeling uncomfortable about these external sources, guys, I'm here to help you. I'll help you every step of the way. If you go into our D2L site here and click on the Content tab, I've actually included some cheat sheets for you. Under General Course Information, there's APA formatting, and you can see everything here. There are two very commonly used scholarly sources, the Journal of Marketing and the American Marketing Association. You can pretty much always find things there. The shared library database is phenomenal, okay, and that's where you're going to be. I would use that every week if I were you. And then you have the Purdue OWL to help you with APA formatting. There's also an APA cheat sheet that I made here for you, and then a sample APA format paper. So surely with all these things, you should have some help with APA formatting, but in the event that you do have questions, again, drop me an email. Happy to help. If you're not sure how to save a file as a PDF, there are some instructions here in the Content tab. It is very simple as far as file save as and PDF, but there are directions here with screenshots that should help you if you've never done that. Okay? So, like I said, every week doing the same thing. You are going to be reading that chapter. You're going to do your guided reading questions, which should help you understand the content of the chapter. And then you're going to do your assignment for the week, your written assignment, which is either a Marketing Minute audio, an application response question, or a discussion board. Okay? So get those things completed. All assignments, with the exception of the guided reading questions and the Flipgrid videos, all other written assignments, you will need 2 key terms and 2 external sources. Okay, so one more time. With the exception of the guided reading questions, which are just your own words, and the Flipgrid, the videos that you're doing for the assignments those weeks, everything else that you submit should be submitted as a PDF. It should include 2 key terms, and it should include 2 external sources. Okay, if you have questions about that, please let me know. You'll notice up here as well, I mentioned that late assignments are not accepted, and I will explain why in just a moment. Okay, but take note, the course is open and available to you at this point in time now. So as you scroll down, you can see the very final page of our syllabus has a course schedule with every assignment and every due date for the entirety of the semester. I've had a lot of students in the past request, I really wish I could work ahead, or I really wish that I could, work at my own pace. So I'm listening to those comments from you guys as the students and giving you the opportunity to do that this semester. I've never done that before in an online class, so it's going to be an interesting experience, but all of these assignments, all the way from week 1 all the way to week 15, are totally available to you right now. So you could go ahead and rapidly get through the whole class in 5 weeks if you wanted to, right? I don't suggest that. But if you want to work a week ahead or a couple of weeks ahead, perfectly fine. If you know you're going on vacation or you're going to have a busy week at work and you want to work ahead, by all means, go ahead. There are set due dates still. Okay, those are all here. It's always Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. That's when the assignment's due. Okay, so for example, week 1. I will be sending out a weekly announcement email to you every Sunday night telling you what's due on the following Sunday night at midnight. So our course starts on the 20th. On the 19th, I'll send out an email to you saying for this first week, you need to read the syllabus, you need to read chapter 1, order your textbook, complete the intro discussion board via Flipgrid, and do your guided review questions, which will be Dropboxed. All these assignments will be due on the 26th, that following Sunday, so you have 1 week to get it all done. Now, if you just so choose that, hey, I want to go ahead and do chapter 3 too, might as well work ahead, you can go ahead and read chapter 3, do the guided reading questions, and do the discussion board. Those are open and available to you. I will still send an email on the 26th, the Sunday night before, telling you that during week 2, you need to be reading chapter 3, doing the guided reading questions and the discussion board, and those are due on the 2nd. So I'll still be interactive with you. I'll still be sending you weekly emails telling you what's due for that week. So if you want to just work on it 1 week at a time, like it's planned here, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to go ahead and move through it a little more quickly or work ahead, you can do that. Now, I do not recommend doing the whole course in 3 weeks. You probably will not get a good grade. Okay, I tell you up here earlier on the syllabus that typically students spend between 5 and 10 hours for their weekly assignments. So you'll kind of see that as you get through the course. By the time you read the chapter, you do the guided reading questions, and you do your assignment, you've invested between 5 and 10 hours in our course for that week. So if you beast through all these assignments in just a couple of weeks, you're probably not going to get a very good grade. Okay, likewise, if you're doing it 1 week at a time, you're going to be getting that feedback from me. So if you do the chapter 3 discussion board and it's just really bad, right, you're going to get feedback from me within 1 week from the time that you have submitted this assignment telling you what you should do. So I'm going to be grading these 1 week at a time. So after you guys submit everything on the 26th, during week 2, I'm going to be grading your stuff from week 1. During week 3, I'm going to be grading your stuff from week 2. So if you're the kind of person that you like feedback from the instructor, I recommend just doing 1 week at a time until you kind of get used to things, and then you can work ahead later. Okay? So we've talked about that. If you have a disability and you need kind of accommodation, let me know. Cheating, guys, don't do it. Use your own work. Don't use other people's work. Pretty simple. Make sure you're checking D2L. We've talked about these things. If you have technical issues, the OIT, their office, their phone number's here and their email's here. They're only open from 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. So take caution of that. Okay, guys, I want to be very clear in saying that these assignments are not things that you can log in on Sundays and turn in by Sunday night. These are things that will require you to go out into the world, visit a store, interview people. That's why I'm giving you a lot of time to work on them. So don't wait until Sunday to try to do your assignments. You will not be successful. And I want you to be successful, so I'm telling you this now. Okay? I would go through and mark every due date on your calendar. So go ahead and, you probably use your phones, or maybe you have a paper calendar still. Mark on the 26th, hey, these things are due. On the 2nd, these things are due. Keep up with your deadlines. Okay? I want to talk to you more about our course as well. In the content section, if you're looking for your assignments, you can see they're divided into weeks. So week 1 is here. You have a PowerPoint presentation to review after you've read the chapter. Those review questions are listed here, and this is the Dropbox where you'll submit those review questions when you're finished. And then there's the introductory discussion board that you're doing this first week, which I said is done via Flipgrid. So I'm going to open this in another tab. This is what Flipgrid is going to look like, and you'll be doing a lot of your assignments here, so that's why we are practicing with the intro discussion board. It tells you hello and welcome, and it gives you some things you need to discuss here. So it asks for your name, your hometown, your student classification, major or minor, your current job and any future career endeavors that you have, interest and hobbies, and which chapter you're most excited to study from our syllabus, which was here on that final page. You can see the titles of all the chapters here. When you get ready to answer these questions, you can scroll down and click on this big green plus sign. It'll ask you to access your camera and your microphone. And if you have a computer with a webcam and a microphone, you can do it on your computer. If not, something that's really easy, there's a Flipgrid app you can download on your phone and make your video that way, and it's super easy. You'll make your video, it will show your face, and you'll be talking, answering all these questions. Once you've done that, listen to some of your peers, reply to some of your peers, get to know them a little bit. Okay? And that's what you're going to be doing for your first week, for your intro discussion board. Once you finish that, I have asked you to please comment done in the intro discussion board just so I can see who has finished it and who's still maybe having some trouble getting logged in. Okay, so comment done in the intro discussion board when you're finished, which you can just get to by clicking on this little link here. Okay, so that's week 1. If you want to go ahead and work to week 2, you can see here, same thing. You're going to read chapter 3, review the PowerPoint. Here's your review questions. Here's your Dropbox. And then here's the chapter 3 discussion board, which asks you to go out and find some ads in the world. You're finding 35 ads, so it is going to take you quite a while to find those. You're going to be making replies to your classmates, including chapter concepts and scholarly sources. So again, this is not something you can do on Sunday night at midnight. So please take note of that. And then if you want to work on to week 3, it's here. So on and so forth. That's where you get your marketing minute audio, which again is going to use Flipgrid. And then so on and so forth. The whole class is available to you all the way through the end. If you're not sure of how to find some of these things, where to submit them, under the evaluation tab, I think you call this a tab, under the evaluation little drop-down menu here, you can see discussions, where you'll be taken to all the discussion boards, Dropbox, where you'll be taken to all the drop boxes for your assignments. And I would just want to show you this. They all have the due dates listed. So if you get confused, those are there. And then grades. This is where you can see my feedback for you. And like I said, I will be reading all these submissions. I will be leaving you feedback. So please make sure you check that. You'll be able to see your final grade updated along the way here throughout the class. And then you will also see each individual assignment and your feedback for those assignments there. Okay, so I've shared most of this with you. Last thing, here under our main screen under news, this is where I'll post your announcements for what's due for that particular week. Okay, if you have any questions about anything, please let me know. Like I said, I really strongly do not recommend trying to do the whole course in 5 weeks. I would recommend keeping up with it on a week-to-week basis, reading the email that you get each week, doing what it says in the email by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. But if you know you have a busy week and you want to work 1 week ahead, that's okay, or 2 weeks, but I would not do the whole class in 5 weeks. I do not think that would be very good. Okay, if you have questions or you want to talk to me, you have my email. Hope you guys have a wonderful semester, and thank you very much. Take care.